Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Tackle Shop Live. Yeah. What's up, Patrick King?
A young and pretty
Scott Luckball.
was it just a dream? The next day you called me up. You told me I'm your little buttercup. You came over and you fell into my arms. Well, I know what I feel. Please tell me your love is real.
Show
You
me.
make me smile when
What's
I
up,
think of
Show
you.
me?
If I get
Gilbert
down when I
51.
am blue, I can't get enough.
What is going on? Len Matthew, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you, pal. Michael Bradley's in the house. Conway, Elliott. What is going on? Lisa Lake, Marky, what do you say, buddy? Man, oh man, Shane McNaughton, how are you, Shane? Robert Mills is here. Joseph Cascarino every week. It's good to see you, Joe. Mike Hare, how are you doing, buddy? David Sickus. Vincent Torpay. Good talk the other day, Vince.
You know just what I feel.
Wow, got a great crowd tonight. Ed Ranowski's here. Bob Whitmer. Hey, how are you, Bob? Jeremy Macbeth, how are you, Jeremy? Danny Poust is here. Mike Barr. Hey, Mike. What's going on, buddy? Nick Cool. How you doing, Nick? Robert Donahue. Evan. What's up, Evan? Let's go, baby. Jeff Santangelo. How are you, Jeff? David Schottlemeyer. Jim Sabin. Always, Jim. How are you, man? Ray Cruz is in the house. David Greenleaf. Jimmy Arnold. Man. I'll tell you what, we got a great show tonight. Thanks, everybody, for stopping by. Another great edition of Tackle Shop Live. We come at you every Thursday night at 7 o'clock. I'm here with George. He's walking around here getting some things together. My name is Mike Acord, and behind the camera is cameraman Nick, who does a great job with the pre-Tackle Shop Live, talking about some cool subject matter and topics. And Nick, it was great fishing with you last Sunday. Yeah, you know,
Yeah, I'm always excited to go with you guys.
Yeah, I mean, we don't get to fish enough together as it is, but when we get out, we have a good time.
Every time, we always learn something.
Yep.
And, we put fish in the boat.
Yep. And this week we really conquered, or not conquered, but we really attacked the koiki,
The urchins.
the koiki fishing to see what that was all about, and rigged it up a couple different ways and fished it in a couple of different scenarios and caught some fish on it, which was cool.
Yep.
And we actually got you on video catching one, and showing you how we fish it and what we were doing with it, and that was cool. So and we had a lot to learn with it, I think.
What I learned though, and I did say it on pre-Tackle Shop, but I think you rigged yours differently than I did.
Yeah.
You rigged yours with a frog hook.
Yep.
And I rigged mine with a finesse flipping hook.
Yep.
But what I took notice of, both of those methods, I think the hookup ratio is great.
Yeah.
I think we learned that.
Yeah.
But I do believe that the single hook is better suited for a little bit more open water.
Yeah.
Not so much in the thickest grass.
Yeah.
And it's not great with rock because your hook hits the rock a lot.
Yeah.
The tip of your
tip of the hook. Yeah.
Your rig with the frog hook, I think the bait being in front of it really protects those hooks a little bit.
Yeah.
I took notice that you were getting through the grass a lot easier.
Yeah. I didn't have any grass hanging up on there.
I would deploy both of those methods depending on what you're fishing.
And I think we learned that big time because we switched from open water fishing to grass fishing, and then we saw that the double hook actually worked better in the grass and came through that cover pretty well. So I was surprised how it came through the cover.
It did great.
It really did. It really did great with all them legs pushing stuff out of the way. I think it really helped. So still working on a bunch of different rigs for that and getting stuff in here. George's showing me all kinds of stuff. There's a lot of stuff in the mix right now that's being built that we have coming in sometime shortly. So we'll let you guys know when all the cool rigs and stuff are coming out. But you know, reading blogs and stuff from different people. They're working hard on coming up with some great rigs on that. So that's exciting. Hey, Nick, we're just a little over a week away from the 2026 Susquehanna River Kayak Classic, a tournament that we put on last year, and this is our second year with it. We're going to give her another whirl. It's a great event. You know, we do events to bring more people into fishing, and this is one where we're going to do the same thing. We want more and more people to come into fishing, all types of fishing, and kayaking is a really great way to get yourself into tournament fishing, inexpensively, but also competitively. It's a very competitive way of fishing tournaments. And this year, our entry fee is $150, but for that, you're going to get one of our great sponsors is 13 Fishing, and they're coming heavy, hard this year and years to come. They're going to be really coming hard. They got Dustin Cannell fishing their rods and designing some of their rods and really pushing the reel design and all that stuff that 13 Fishing has done for many years. Kind of got away with a little bit, but now they're refocusing on that. And you're going to see a lot more of that stuff in the shop here over the next several months. But you're going to get a 13 Fishing rod for your $150 entry fee. And
it's a big deal.
That's a big deal, you know. So we always like to give something back, and this is great partnering with 13 Fishing. They agreed to it for one more year, and listen, you guys can get in this tournament, and you can fish this tournament, and you can know that part of your entry fee is taken care of with a nice rod, and you can go out there and fish and try it. Just try it. You know, who knows? You might love kayak fishing tournaments. And last year was funny because we had some guys rent kayaks, Nick.
That's pretty awesome.
And Mark's one of them that's on here, and I think he said he's going to do it again. and he he's going to use Mike. He's just saying here he's going to use Mike Reinhold, so he doesn't have to rent one, but he's going to borrow one or rent one. Or he said it wasn't that expensive at all. So him and his buddy did, and a couple other people did also, just to try it and see. And Mark had a good enough time that he wants to do it again this year. If we get 150 boats, Nick, we're paying out over $18,000 in cash.
That's amazing.
We got to get 150 boats, and it's going to be one of the greatest payouts ever in kayak fishing history. So we really want to get a bunch of more guys signed up. We have a bunch signed up right now. We need to get a bunch more. We got plenty of time. All you got to do is go on Tourney X. You need to look up the 2026 Susquehanna River Classic. That'll pop up, and you can put all your information in there and do it through PayPal, and it's boom, you're done. You're all signed up. Meeting here is Friday night next week at 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock, I think it is the meeting. And we're going to go over the rules. Any questions, we can get them answered. Anybody that's new, we can really help you at that meeting. It's called the captain's meeting. And we can help you with how to do it, what to do, where to do it, where you can go, where you can't go, what you got to do to take the pictures and all that kind of submit your catches. We can go over all that with you guys here at the shop on Friday, all day. We're going to be here all day, so we can answer those questions all day. But the official captain's meeting starts at 5 o'clock, and everybody should be here for that. We're going to telecast it live. We're going to go live with it, so everybody that can't make it, who's traveling or whatever, can get the information that they need. But anyway, so that's coming up. You don't want to miss it. The 2026 Susquehanna River Classic. If we get enough people, 150 boats, we're going to pay out $10,000 for first place. And I'm telling you, that's a giant deal. That is a real big deal. So make sure you check that information out. You can go online and read about it on our website, sfttackle.com. click on the big banner that pops up in front of you, and you will be taken right to the page. It gives you all the information. If you have any other questions, you can call here at the shop, talk to either one of us guys that are here working. We can help you out with that. And it's going to be a great event. It's going to be a good time, and I don't think you guys want to miss it at all. It's going to be fun. Okay. I'll tell you another thing, Nick, that we have going on is, we're good friends with Eric. Epic Eric. Yeah, Eric Lasso. He's one of our guys, that we really enjoy to be around and enjoy his company and enjoy his enthusiasm for fishing and tournament fishing and tackle. He's a tackle freaking junkie. Above and beyond anything, he's a tackle junkie. He's good friends with a guy by the name of John Pryor, who's a lure painter from Georgia, and he paints some incredible stuff and knows a lot of people in the industry and paints a lot of baits for a lot of pros out there. Well, they did grab me that. We donated a lure to them, one of these great big lures that you see in the shop here that you can buy. And we have them in the American flag right now, but you can buy these. And John we donated one to John, and he took it. And he took it down to the the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame in 2025 to get a bunch of signatures on it, and they were going to donate it to the Hall of Fame, and something happened. It didn't work out, and they were carrying it around, and they thought, you know what, we're going to give it back to George and Mike, and that's what they did. But look at this thing. It's custom painted by John in a color, one of his famous colors that he has, but it's signed by some really cool people and people in the Hall of Fame. I mean, we got Randy Howell, Rick Clunn, we've got David Fritz on there, we've got Kevin Van Dam, Johnny Morris is on there, Bill Dance. But anyway, there's a ton of them on here. Jay Yellis is on there, Cliff Pace is on there, a good buddy of ours, Shaw Grisby, Hank Parker. So there's a bunch of them on there, but I thought that was really cool of them to donate that back to us. So we're going to put this up in the shop, and you guys can come and check this out and really see all these cool signatures on this really cool painted lure from John Pryor. And, glad to be friends with those guys. Glad to have those guys that we can bounce ideas off and talk fishing and talk tackle. And Eric also does some cool stuff here with the shop. We do some collabs with them with some sweatshirts. He does all the stickers that you see up on the front here, the river rats and the Susquehanna Smalley stickers. And then what we did is we did some hats and we did some sweatshirts that are available here in the store also that we collab with him. So we kind of worked together with some cool stuff, and that's just one of the things that we did. We had a great little time with him on Thursday last week, and I didn't get a chance to announce it and tell everybody what was going on. But I didn't want to forget this week, because it's really special to have that lure, painted up custom by John Pryor, number one, but number two, all those cool signatures on there. And you guys can come and check it out at the shop. We'll have it mounted here somewhere prominent, so you can check it out and see it. And see what it's all about. So the fishing, we've been fishing, George and I and Nick, we've been fishing on Sunday, had a great time, caught a bunch of fish, and we're going to go out this weekend and do the same and tear them up. Now, we got a lot of stuff going on here in the store. We have some great tackle coming in, some new tackle coming in. When George gets over here on Tackle Talk, you guys are going to hear all about it. And it's just some great stuff going on. We still got a lot of season left. We still got a lot of tackle in the shop. We still got a lot of fishing talk that we're going to do in here, Nick. You know how that is when in the shop here, man.
That's all we do.
We talk fishing and we talk tackle. It's a lot of fun. So make sure you guys stop in, see us, say hi. Say you saw us on Tackle Shop Live, and we would love to shake your hands and see you face to face.
Hey, I got to ask you guys something. We are at the end of July. I mean, we're almost into August here.
Yeah.
August is supposed to be just this brutal, hot month. It feels like fall out there.
Yeah.
What do you guys think this does?
I tell you, hopefully it's not going to be as bad, huh?
It's bad how?
Well, usually August is really, really tough fishing. And it's, dog days of summer is August.
Well, you know what I do in August. I don't know what you guys do in August, but I can tell you what I do in August. No matter where I'm fishing, I go into the shallowest possible water that I can get my boat into. And that's where I start. And I very, very, very reluctantly that's the only way I'll leave there. If Mike and I are fishing a team tournament and things aren't going well, the resolution of the shallow bite might start to fade.
Yeah.
And the communication barrier widens and the clock is ticking.
Yep.
And the black box gets turned on. But that's a last resort.
Well, George, to your point, obviously we talked about we went fishing Sunday.
Yep.
And we made a couple casts into very skinny water.
Oh, we could not put the boat where we needed to put the boat. That's how shallow we were fishing. In a boat that floats in probably, put it this way. If we'd have had a block of wood under the trolling motor, we'd have got a little bit shallower. That's just where they're at. The fish are the trick to August. Everyone's like, you got to go deep. That's where the water's cooler. No. You got to go shallow because there's a shallow population. That's just me. Now,
well, yeah,
I know you guys look at it differently, but
No.
there's a shallow population of fish.
There's a deep population too, but
I'm not talking about the deep population.
Yeah.
I'm talking about what I do.
I know.
And there's a shallow population of fish, and what they are is hunters. They are individual fish. They're not groups, and they're hunting. They're hunting bluegill. They're hunting whatever the local delicacy is, and that's in August because Mike had a interesting take there. Or was it Nick? August is known for the beginning of the dog days, the tougher bite.
Mm-hmm. It was great though. What Nick was getting at was we were throwing baits in the water and these wakes.
Yeah, you'd see these wakes.
You'd see these wakes coming. Yeah, they turn around. You'd see the wake going one way, and when your bait would hit, and they turn around and they would swim over and eat those lures. And we caught them on swim jigs. We caught them on the urchins. We caught them on swim baits. And a few top waters.
It was the beginning of Shark Week.
Yeah,
that is true. You're not kidding.
It was the beginning of Shark Week.
And they were absolutely sharking our bait. So that was really cool to see. And Nick was like, man, look at this. It's crazy, man. I can't believe how shallow these fish are. And you can look in the water with your glasses. You can't see them.
Can't see them.
You cannot see those fish. It's amazing. I've been doing it for many, many years in that shallow bite like that. And it's just friggin' amazing when you make a cast. I can't tell you how many times I made a cast with a topwater lure and you see this wake coming while the bait's in the air, and it would hit the water, and they would instantaneously, you wouldn't even get a turn on the reel, and they would instantaneously.
So to that point, guys, I know the answer to this, but the people watching and viewing don't. What is the key to get that bite? Is it long casts, or is it, what is the key?
Well, I mean, I think so. I have a note in my book here. What are you fishing now? And I want to ask your opinion of what you're fishing now. I want to have Mike explain to me what he's fishing now, and what I'm fishing now has a lot to do with the key of what you're talking about. And I'm fishing topwater. I'm fishing a buzzbait. I'm fishing some brand of walking bait. Right now, I'm going through a pile of ICAST samples and trying out everybody's new walking bait. I have, great amounts of confidence in August in something on top. And for me, it's always a buzzbait, some sort of a walking bait, some sort of a plopper. You know, my favorite plopper of all time is the Whopper plopper, but I got to tell you, I'm trying the other brands out, and even some of the brands that, you know, I wouldn't necessarily be my first choice. Like, I've been having great success with the Screamin' Chopo. I like the size. I like the profile. It's a wider profile. I think profiles a lot on top water. Of course, a frog of some sort, you know, is playing. And then this August is a little different because we have been invaded by the urchins. So, you know, no matter what you're doing,
You got to throw that.
We're invaded.
you know, Mike and I fish. We love to fish super. When we're fishing tournaments in the dog days of summer, we like to fish super shallow. You know, you've heard us talk about the block of wood many, many times. The block of wood does not get put away. The block of wood resides in the cockpit of the Skeeter. And the block of wood spends most of its days under the trolling motor, keeping it as shallow as you could possibly have it. You know, so the reason for that is
Giving up our secrets, man.
those fish are hunting. Well, you know, when you're getting, you know, 7 bites in 8 hours, not everybody's into that. But they're good fish, you know, and if you're fishing a team tournament or if you and your buddy are fishing, it really works well because a lot of times those fish are so shallow that they will miss the bait. And I think they kind of like I always say, don't ever throw the same bait back at them again. Now, I don't know if that's a good idea or a bad idea, to be honest with you. Most of them you don't catch anyways. But if you're got, you know, you're fishing with a buddy, you know, be complimentary to each other. If somebody's throwing a buzzbait and skipping it up into the gnarliest, nastiest shallows and there's a blow up, you instant. I mean, and the deal with that backup, if you can get that backup on that fish before you get the first bait out of the water, you know, and you need a partner to do that because obviously in a tournament situation, you have to reel that rod in first. That's too long. You know, they blow up, that next lure should be already flying through the air, if possible.
Yeah.
And then that fish will eat. If you let them delay in there, it's your odds go down.
That's a funny conversation too, because when you're the one that missed it, or you know the fish missed your bait, it's almost like this panic yell to your partner, like get in there, anything, just throw it in there, you know. And they're trying like hell to get something in there, you know.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
We've had some big follow-ups with even a spinnerbait, where you know we've caught some big fish that blew up on a buzzbait, and I'll tell you, when that spinnerbait hits, like 3 seconds later at the most, it's chaos in the shallows.
It depends on where you're fishing, Nick, in that real shallow water. You know, one of the things that we always said was when you're fishing shallow water, it's imperative to stay way back from your target and try to make the longest cast possible because of, you know, the boat puts out a certain amount of noise and pressure and the trolling motor. So the farther you can cast, the better. And I've seen where a really good casting reel, say like these DC reels, you know, the Corrado DC, which casts farther than any reel that I've ever thrown, gets that extra 10 feet or 15 feet in your cast. And you're only getting bit in that 15 feet window because, you know, it gets too close to the boat and then you start missing out. Now that's open water. That's, you know, chunk rock, open water, gravel flats, stuff where the fish, you know, aren't in heavy cover like trees and grass and stuff like that. When you're in grass and it's super shallow, you can sneak up a little closer on them and kind of ambush them that way and surprise them. I think it's more than anything. But the farther you can throw, I think the better, you know, for those fish in that real super shallow water. I do want to answer one question. A fella here asked me about the clip size for the chatterbait, and I'm sorry I didn't get back to you on the email because I know you emailed me on that too, and I read it, and I was on the phone, and I didn't know right away, and I had to walk out and look, and I forgot. Yeah, my brain attention is honestly, it's seconds. I got seconds, and then I'm on to something else, and I should have hung up the phone and ran back here and looked right away when I read that. But anyway, a number 2 snap is the correct snap. I think if you go smaller, you're going to have failure because of the braid and the hook sets and the fighting and the fish and the swinging of the fish. You're going to have some failure. So I would say a 2 snap for the chatterbaits if you have one that failed on you.
Well, I mean, I would go with a premium snap.
Yeah,
I would go with a Gamakatsu snap. I would go with an owner snap.
Right.
And that's as small as I would go.
Yeah, and the number two, I think, is big enough, And the other one you want to look at is the VMC crankbait snap. I don't know how that would fit in that holes and stuff there, but it's a heavier wire and it's really strong, and it's got the cross locks on it too. The 2 that George is talking about, the owner and the Gamakatsu, have the same kind of clasp on it too. It's that cross locks clasp, which is really, really important for that. So any one of those 3, I think, will work really well for you in number 2. So, all right.
Well, we were talking about what we do in August.
Oh yeah.
Before we took a amazing NASCAR
turn
left-hand onto
I wanted to answer
onto
Robert
a snap
because
conversation.
I felt bad. I didn't
That's like a
I didn't get back
George,
to Robert.
We're at a road course here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't get back, and I just want you to know, Robert, that's my attention span. Is like this.
I'm
right,
with you on
right,
that.
right here. It's that long, and if somebody says something to me while I'm reading what you're telling me, I'm already off topic, and I'm on to something else, and I apologize, but that's my flaw of that's Mike's flaw. That's Mike's flaw. They have a thing for it, a name for it. So, but my August thing is, my baits for August is definitely a top water. First and foremost is a top water bait. I think you get some crazy great top water stuff. And I think top water works everywhere, no matter where you're at.
100%.
I think, some of the stuff we're going to talk about tonight with the Northern Swing, top water is kind of going away for the smallies up there because of the gobies. But if you're in places where there's shad and you're, and you're fishing shallow water, even up there, if you're fishing for largemouth in shallow water, the top water plays a big deal. Like the frogging up there is fantastic. But top water for sure, whether it's a frog, a walking bait, which I really like to do for smallmouth, or a whopper plopper style bait. I'm a big somebody said it's something about a Rico. I love like the Ricos and the splash hits. I mean, we were throwing that on Sunday, weren't we, Nick?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, busted that out because of the size of the bait that we were seeing.
Oh yeah, you ain't kidding.
Yeah. And then it's just, for me, it's just moving baits. It's a lot of moving baits. It's sometimes it's the smaller stuff. Smaller spinner bait, the smaller size jackhammers, the babies, the smaller stuff. The smaller jerk bait. Super fluke for me is a big one, but it's all moving baits for me. It's going to a swim jig, which we threw. It's going to have to be a really tough day for me to slow down and actually get the flipping, or pitching or chucking around a Ned rig or a tube or something like that. But that happens. They're all rigged up, ready to go, but it happens. But
that gets mixed in there like as the situation calls for it.
Yeah.
You might just pick that rod up, make 5 flips, put it back down.
Yeah.
There's a situation.
Yeah.
Absolutely. How about you, Nick? When it's August?
So for me,
in Nick's world,
so it's a little bit different than you guys because your world's mostly river or tidal, things like that. My world's a little more reservoir, things like that, or going up north. I'm gonna be hugging that bottom a little bit more. I am gonna try top water because there's always promise with that. But I'm going to be doing things like a jig. I'm going to be doing things like a Carolina rig, like cranking, things like that. If there's grass, I'll be punching a little bit, frogging, some things like that to get some bites, but just a little bit different than like when we fished on Sunday. I'm like, this is great. You know, I'm not used to that. You know, I can't really fish certain things like that.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, you know, and when I look back on August and August's gone by, you know, and I look at, you know, how I used to be a jig fisherman.
Yep.
And I would my boat would always have, my front deck would always have, you know, 3 or 4 jig rods, at least 3. And I would swim a jig and I would flip a jig, or I should say I would flip a jig and I would swim a jig and I would cast a jig. And what I mean by cast a jig is offshore rock piles. Now, I will say with the advent of technology, I do have that black box turned on, you know, at some point here and there. And it might not be every day, but on that day, as I said earlier, when Mike and I are like, the struggle is real, the communication gap is approaching DEFCON 5, and you know, Mike and I have a saying that we learned from Pop, and it's, we got to do something different, even if it's wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, you got an 8-hour tournament, you're 6 hours in. Now, me, I'm just going to stay on a tournament situation. I'm going to stay up in the dirt because it only takes, 3-4 bites. You don't even need a limit on a tough day. But I do defer and agree with when we turn the black box on. And sure enough, the thing about scoping in a team tournament, really the scope's only made for one person. And you catch more fish when you let that person go it alone. Those fish don't like it raining minnows. They don't like it raining koikis. They don't like that. So, you know, I'm looking for, as that scope's panning back and forth, I'm looking for a rock. And I've got a football jig or even a casting jig rigged and ready.
Absolutely.
And when I see that rock, I deploy. And quite often, more often than not, especially when we're around fish, if you're around fish and there's a big rock or a big log way offshore and you're around fish, guess what?
There's fish on it.
There's a fish on it.
Yep.
So, you know, like when we're team tournament fishing and the black box is engaged, I let that to the more talented shakers.
Fishing for those hovering fish.
He's doing his I can see him thing. You can't see the ones on the bottom unless your name is like Bank Shaw or something. You know, or who's the one that won the classic? Nut.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
If you're not a Nut or a Shaw, you can't see him on the bottom. Or a Bubba. Bubba says, "Oh, well, you know, just they look like bowling balls." No, bowling balls look like bowling balls. That looks like noise. Give me a rock. And I like that. But really, if I look back and I complete my statement about analyzing past August, you know, my evolution from jig fisherman to power fisherman was destined because you get more bites power fishing shallow in August. End of discussion. And now, minnow shakers throughout the land, I'm not comparing that to you. You guys will catch on a good day 40. I'll catch 40 on a good week.
I'm like, I really, I cut my teeth a lot in summertime fishing on offshore structure fishing, which I really enjoy. analyzing the bottom, finding the structure, looking for the break lines, looking for the rock humps, the stumps. I know you're really big on any kind of abnormality with the bottom, relative to a point or, a creek channel of some sort, a little bend in it, a little crotch in it. I mean, I love that. I absolutely love it. Chucking a Carolina rig, dragging a Carolina rig. It used to be back in the day, we Carolina rig and crankbait in August. That's what we did back in the day. George and I evolved more and more and more into the shallow water bite, but way back in the day before, I guess it was new to us. We spent a lot of time offshore. We spent a lot of time figuring off the offshore bite, so we don't rule it out
at all,
but we enjoy and we have great success fishing shallow.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's what I want guys to understand. If you're a deep water fisherman, your argument is, no, I'm going to kick your ass deep. That's what your argument is. I'm going to find that school of fish and I'm going to wreck them. And I don't have to move my boat 10 feet all day long. I got the school of fish on the point. There's bait fish. It has a rock pile on the end of it, whatever. And I'm going to wreck them there. I'm going to bring in 18 pounds off of that. We're saying that, now for us, we're going to try to get our 18 pounds in that shallow water, which it happens a lot. And then sometime during the day when we realize that bite just is, because they don't always bite shallow and they don't always bite deep, but they do. There is always shallow fish and there's always deep fish. And that's what we want you guys to understand. There's always the shallow bite. There's always the deep bite. And there's even an in-between bite that you got to figure out, which is the edge of a grass, the outside edge of a grass, that kind of thing. That's what I call the middle pattern. And you need to figure that out too. So, but we evolved a lot to being very successful with our shallow water fishing, and we enjoy it.
It's fun.
It's a lot of fun, and we enjoy that. And we have to rule that out first. And George and I, we go to the dirt and we do put the block of wood underneath there and we rear that sucker out. And it gets to a point 3 or 4 hours into this thing.
Whoa.
Yeah.
3 or 4 hours.
You didn't let me finish my statement. Can I finish?
Yeah, you can.
Who's that sound like?
Don't be talking crazy.
Can I finish? 3 or 4 hours in there, we start chirping. You start chirping. I don't know, man. I don't know if they're probably, let's go up in this other wood,
Turn the trolling motor up higher.
We're chirping. Let's cover some more water, I don't know, man. This starts happening, and then off to the races we go. If it doesn't work out, then we try to, and we pulled off some stuff that, and there's a lot of times where it doesn't work. So, I mean, that's tournament fishing, but.
Well, and the other thing I wanted to comment on there, Nick, and if I cut you off, let me know. But I want to talk about the power of top water some more, because if you don't have a top water in your hand a large percentage of your day in August, I'm just going to say you're making a horrible business decision. I think if I looking back again, I'm more confident with my top water bite after 10 than I am before 10.
I agree with that.
I'm just telling you right now. In the early morning, yes, there can be an amazing top water bite.
Yeah.
I haven't experienced one in a long time. But mostly because I don't get on the water until about 7:30.
We have to get up a lot earlier.
but George, I got to ask you a question here, because this is awesome what you're actually talking about here. When you say top water, your brain, anybody's brain can go to so many different baits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What makes you guys choose one over the other when you say top water?
That's a great question. And I mean, I'm gonna jump on here quick before Mike does, because maybe I can steal all the good ideas. No, really. So mine is cover oriented. So if I can, in August, I'm going to throw the spook or the plopper. But the cover doesn't always allow that. I'm one that I love to get on big, giant grass flats in tidal water. And it can be this time of the year, a good cast is a 3-foot retrieve. I'm like, from the time I splash down until I get 3 feet away from there is when I'm going to get bit. Because the rest of it, I'm reeling in grass. But that bait and that type of retrieve is so powerful in shallow water that I have to try it. But I would say cover dictates it. Mike's on the popper. He's a Don Iovino splash it guru.
You match the bait, you match it. But the George is right. The calling power of a whopper plopper
or a spook
and a spook, the calling power of it, a full size spook just coming across that water.
It's awesome.
I mean, you might not, there's days where you might not catch a lot of fish on them, but when you do get bit on it, like on a saddle or on a point, or on a big flat where you're just going along, when you get that bite, it's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
It's going to be like when they hit, you're yelling for the net right away, because it is going to be a good one. And some of your better fish of the day are going to be caught on that top water at the weirdest times of the day. And people, there's so many people come in this store, and George kind of alluded to it. There's so many people who come into the store and they are done topwater fishing by the time George and I are even getting on the water at 7:30, because we're old and we're tired. Unless it's a tournament, then we struggle it out and we go. But it's just, there's so many people are done with the topwater by 7:30. I'm here to tell you that you can catch fish on a topwater all day long if you're willing to just keep picking it up and throwing it for 15 minutes, here and there, when it looks good, when it's fun, when it's something that you really like, So I just think that the calling power of a Czar spook and a whopper plopper
and a buzzbait
the calling power of those types of baits is just so unbelievable that you better be throwing it throughout the whole day, especially if it looks fishy and you're like, man. So what do we have tied on? Because I'm lazy. I'm a completely lazy fisherman, and I'm just going to say it straight up. I am a lazy fisherman. I have the spook tied on. I have the whopper plopper tied on. We always have a buzzbait tied on, and they're always going to be tied on all the time. And you just, because when you're going along and you get that urge and you see that little spot, you're looking for that rod. You know what I mean? If you have to stop and retie and do all this crap, you're not going to throw it. You're going to say, well, I'm just going to keep flipping. I'll flip that spot. So, but that's how important and how powerful a topwater bait can be this time of year.
Bring it in, Nick. We want to bring that camera in here and zoom in.
Okay, be careful.
Now, if you're buzzbait,
that plug is giving us trouble today.
Well, listen.
If it blacks out today, just stay on, because it's just the power on the camera.
I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see it, but that rivet, that loop on the bottom of that buzzbait blade is gone. That blade is disconnected from the buzzbait. If you're not burning them blades off, you think you're throwing it enough, but you ain't throwing it enough.
You're right.
That one there just burned off in the middle of the retrieve. That's when you're throwing your buzzbait enough. And the other thing about the buzzbait that makes it a great August bait is I rigged this with either a super fluke or a horny toad. And that allows me to skip this into any place I want to skip it. You can't really do that with the skirt so much. But if you put a toad on there or a super fluke, they skip really, really well, especially a toad. And when this baby gets to where it needs to be in that super shallow, less than a foot of water, and you get that first couple revolutions of that blade, it's on. So the buzzbait rules.
Yep.
George, I know that one hurt.
That one did hurt.
I could tell.
And they always sound the best
when they're failing
right before they die.
Well, what was funny was we're all fishing, and all I hear is, Mike, we got a problem.
It's over.
Yeah,
it's over, buddy.
It's over.
And you know what
It's
was
over.
nice about, here's how if you're a golfer you want to die like old Henry, right on the golf course.
Yeah.
If you're a whatever, but this buzzbait caught a smallmouth about 2 casts before it
Died.
perished.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now we're going to put a prosthetic on this buzzbait. We're going to replace the blade,
Oh my gosh. Just give it up.
and this
You got
buzzbait.
30 other ones like that. Look at in the boat.
I'll have a lot of buzzbaits that look like that, but none of them that are like that. This buzzbait will ride again with a new, fresh,
Set of hardware.
tarnished rivet. I have to cut my rivet off because I crimp them, and a new blade that will spend about 3 or 4 cycles of commuting to work, hanging out the window,
Oh yeah, I like that.
and she's going to ride again.
Guys, one more quick one. When you guys are fishing shallow, and you said it earlier, we can't see the fish. It's like they just magically just start flying.
I know.
Are you guys, is it more the fish are in the area or they're not? Or how much does what you're throwing matter? Which one do you believe in more?
I believe, honestly, on shallow fish, I honestly believe that if those shallow fish, if they're going to bite, will probably hit a lot of different things on that. If you make that right cast, you know what I mean? If you make that right cast, like we even said it, you cast it out with that urchin and one just freaking turned around and just
Had to have it.
smoked over to it. I think that if somebody would have made another cast other than a top water, I think if it's a top water, it's a top water. But if it's something under the water and those fish are up shallow, they're kind of going to eat. So they're up there looking to eat. So as long as it's something that's close to what they're eating or entices them into what they're eating. In other words, I think if I would have thrown a swim jig into that same spot that you caught that fish on the urchin, I probably would have caught that fish. If I would have thrown the urchin, I would have caught him on the urchin. If I would have thrown but not a super fluke because they just weren't eating that. So it has spook. What they didn't eat that spook. I was throwing the top water and they weren't eating it at the time.
Oh, you're talking about one fish.
No, I'm talking about that whole kind of stretch of water, that some of that stretch of water, if they're not, if that fish is up there looking around and you throw something in there, he's going to eat it. He's going to eat it in that scenario. Now, is there a better bait for getting more bites on those fish? Absolutely. You have to dial in to that day. We've had it where a spinnerbait was the only thing they would bite. We had it that they would only eat a splash it in that same scenario that we were in on Sunday. We had it where they would only eat a super fluke at times. That's what they were really on to. So, but honestly, if you're like in that scenario where the day we were there, I don't think it would have mattered if it was a swim jig or a urchin bait or I was just trying to think of what else we were throwing that would have worked in there that day. But something that went under the surface,
Like a Senko.
like a Senko. I think they would have ate that Senko, on that same cast.
One thing I noticed in the month of August, in a tidal water scenario. So in tidal water, when you want to talk top water, you have a phenomenal post spawn top water bite, and quite often it's hard to beat a Pop R or a Rico or a Splash It or whatever you like to throw. The KVD pop. It's very hard to beat that a lot of times, post spawn, the end of May into June. Unless it's real windy. And then that bite kind of fades. It kind of fades where it becomes there's better ways to catch those fish. But more often than not, in that same tidal water environment, And I remember this from on the Potomac River. You get that stingy, super hot August where it's just like you question why you're out there. And the bite's stingy. And the 1-2 punch is obviously a frog and flipping. But the 1A 2 punch is that same popper, Rico, Splash It, whatever you have, working that real tight edge to that grass. So it calls for very accurate casting. And again, you got that 3 foot, 2 foot strike zone. But man, when they're tucked up underneath that edge, that can be a bad boy in August, especially on a higher tide. So it's kind of funny how with that bait, and I've seen that in multiple tidal environments over the years in August, because August in tidal water can be kind of a stingy month. It depends on how the year's going, but it can be a little stingy.
Like you said, George, sometimes you're like, why am I out here?
Yeah. And, I used to think running the tide was the answer. And after many, many years of doing that and many, many tanks full of gas, I have reversed my feelings on that to if you can identify an area where there are a lot of fish, I'm not saying you can catch them, but if you can identify an area where there are a lot of fish,
Yeah.
especially if you're tournament fishing,
Yeah.
I firmly believe that you're better off
Camping out.
riding. Exactly.
Yeah.
And at some point of your day, you might be throwing a Splash It. At some point of your day, you might be throwing a buzzbait. At some point of your day, you might be punching.
Yeah.
But
Roberto said, George, he said, it's pathetic how attached you can become to a certain bait. And that's just
who said that?
Roberto
Rodriguez?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, Roberto, sometime I want you to jump up in my boat with me. And, me and you we're like-minded. I'm going to pop open some boxes and I'm going to dig out some baits.
Yeah.
Like I have the first Rico I ever bought.
It's pathetic.
It is yellow now because it's so old. It has had so many sets of hooks on it that my Rico is sponsored by Gamakatsu. And we're going to talk about that, me and you. I'm going to show you that.
He gets it.
I'm going to tell you about that.
Yeah,
bait.
he gets it. There's certain baits that you go to in your box that it's
dude.
There's people who.
What about the Bomber, Fire Tiger, 6A and 7A, 2A, 3A, 6A, and 7A collection we have?
Oh yeah.
Is that unhealthy?
Oh, it's unhealthy.
We have OG, Bomber, 2A.
The 2A and 3As are just like
3A,
and we still go to them things. And
6A and 7A in Fire Tiger.
Yeah.
In large quantities.
Yeah.
And that's,
it is pathetic.
That
was a great work. That's pathetic.
It's good stuff.
It's pathetic is exactly what it is. But you do get attached to certain stuff. And there's a time when you're fishing, you're like, God, I got to get that bait out. And you just got to get it out.
Put up a poll question, Nick, on social, if you could, this week. How many listeners still have in their tackle and actively use old Bomber Model A crankbaits?
Better question would be, what is your pathetic lure that you just cling to?
Well, I don't like the word pathetic.
No, that's exactly what it is.
I find that word.
Roberto nailed it he nailed it perfectly.
Well, he used some questionable verbiage, and that's okay.
I thought
but me and him are going to talk about baits.
I thought he freaking hammered it. I thought, because that's exactly the way I feel.
That's a good question for people.
Yeah. What is that pathetic? Yeah. We gotta keep moving on this show.
Oh, well, here we go. Being rushed.
Yeah, we got to keep moving.
Rule number 1, George.
Yeah.
Well, we're a tackle shop.
And
one of the great things that we do is we love messing with tackle.
We do have tackle.
And more important than messing with tackle is we have a ton of tackle. And more important to that is we love talking about tackle.
We do love talking about it.
And this is Tackle Talk.
What was I thinking?
Okay, what a great conversation. Always, this show starts out always so great because who knows where in the hell we're going to end up. But that was all great conversation, and I think we got August covered very, very well. So George, what is hot and new
I'm dealing with
in the world of tackle?
what I'm dealing with is a geopolitical situation.
Geopolitical. What does that mean?
Well, I got a war going on with Iran, the Strait of Hormuz. I got tungsten tipped tomahawks being thrown around like 22 rimfire shells. I got the capitalist people that are control most of the tungsten are like, yeah, keep shooting them. And they raised the price of tungsten 5,000%. And everybody's like, well, we can't make tungsten weights anymore.
What are we going to do?
Henceforth, I'm in the middle of a geopolitical situation. And I got news for you. I don't see it getting much better too quick. And that being said, what I mean by that is tungsten prices have absolutely gone insane. I mean, 5,000%. And I don't even know where it's at now. I took a survey at ICAST.
Mm-hmm.
I took it upon myself to survey the industry. And those that would talk were not those that were in power.
That's right.
So I got some real stray, casual comments from a few of them, which
Yeah.
I immediately downplayed.
Yeah. The one guy that I thought was pretty funny on that was that one Japanese company that we were trying to hook up with.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, yeah, well, we're gonna sell them one bullet weight for $25. He said, I don't know how many we're going to sell.
He said, I don't think I'm going to sell too many.
But we're going to have them available for $25. It's what it's going to cost is $25 for one bullet weight.
So, America, I'm leading this charge here. Okay. Mike and I and cameraman Nick have decided to put this burden on our shoulders and find solutions. And the first solution is a Picasso product that's not new. This product goes back to the very beginning of Picasso. And if you're not familiar with Picasso, you know me, I like to call out greatness.
Well, yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I was the first person to talk about Michael Jordan. I mean,
George,
I was.
No, honestly, when it comes to tackle and you got to understand this about George.
I know Michael Jordan too.
Yeah, but you got to understand this about George. He is an absolute terminal tackle frigging junkie, and he was on a mission that
Not done yet.
He likes to call a jihad, and he was on a jihad to have all of the greatest terminal tackle you could possibly have in our store, and now we have aisles of terminal tackle, and Picasso is his.
Me and Picasso go back to day
Yeah,
one.
Picasso is his like juice. You know what I mean? It's his thing.
I just think they're overlooked in a lot of departments, and
because
back in the day, Picasso evolved from a company called True Tungsten. Right, which was on the border of, it was in Mexico.
Yeah,
they had to move because of massive drug cartel shootouts in downtown Del Rio. But that's another story for another podcast. And it didn't work out for them, and so they became Picasso. And Picasso is a company right here in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Tyrone.
And they're hardcore fishermen. owner of Picasso is he's probably got a derby this weekend.
Yep.
But anyways, I digress. Pro Metal is a lead and a hardened alloy blend, if you will. And it does have some size difference. Let's see if I can do this here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you a 3/8 ounce lead bullet weight and a 3/8 ounce Pro Metal. The Pro Metal is the smaller one, and it's considerably smaller. And that's 3/8, okay? That's 3/8. Now, anybody that types on here, well, it's bigger than tungsten.
No kidding.
I'm not sure if you've been listening for the last 10 minutes, but
Yeah.
don't type that in there. Now, check this out. Check this out. So I would say in the fishing industry, the most number one selling size of bullet weight is 3/16 and 1/4 of an ounce. And I'm going to show you a 3/16 ounce Pro Metal. And I got to tell you, I fished these Pro Metals. I can promise you, if you go into the Skeeter boat that Mike and I drive, there's packs of Pro Metals that go back to day one with these guys. Now, that's a 3/16. Okay? Let me put that 3/8 up there. And it's next to the 3/8. It's considerably smaller. It's an acceptable size 3/16. Okay? And guess what? We
It's
got weights down.
Yeah.
Guess what?
It's hard.
Guess what? There is 5 in a pack
Yeah.
from a 16th. Look at this thing. Thank you, Nick. I'm going to hold this one, Nick, because I chose a poor. Although we could have some sport with this.
Well, you use 2 hands.
So here's a 16th. In the middle is a 3/16, and on the other side is a 3/8. Please don't ask which is which. Look at that, 16th. One of my biggest complaints with tungsten is 16th and 8th tungstens are too small for me. I like a bigger profile.
Yeah. Remember that company that made the flare on the bottom of them?
Yeah,
Yeah.
those days are gone.
Man, that was a great.
So let me put it to you this way, guys. A 16th to 3/8 is a 5 count. Okay? 429. That's in today's world, that's some inexpensive terminal tackle. A 1/2 ounce is a 4 count. A 3/4 is a 3 count, and a 1 is a 2 count. Now, I'm not going to sit here and kid you. The big boys, they're decent size, but by no means are they too big. They only go up to an ounce. Now, if you object to this ounce, then it's obvious to me you don't punch with an 1.5 ounce tungsten. That's the ounce.
Got to put that next to the 3/8.
Give me a 1/2 out of there. I'm going to put a 1/2 next to it. Now that's a bigger weight, but they lengthened it rather than, here's a 1/2. Not bad. Not bad. So, from one bass guy to another, and a terminal tackle guy, a guy that, a lot of you guys are like us.
What about a guy who doesn't want to pay $25 for? I'm that guy.
Well, it's our decision's been made for us because
Yeah.
So far some of the majors, Strike King, VMC, Picasso, and I'm sure I can think of some more, have suspended production.
Yeah.
So it's not like, and there are some tungsten weights out there that look a little different than other tungsten weights.
Yeah.
Those are essentially lead weights with a tungsten powder mixed into them. So essentially it's this kind of a weight.
Yeah.
So
The reason for the mixture in this one, instead of it just being straight lead, is it is a little smaller, but it's harder.
yeah, oh yeah,
So, tungsten was always so great because it's hard and you feel so much more on the bottom. Well, this is a harder composition than just straight lead. So you're going to feel a lot more with this one than you do with straight lead. So that's the key, that's the reason why what's it called, George? Pure steel?
Pro Metal.
Pro Metal. That's why they're calling it Pro Metal, because it does have those, it's harder and you feel the bottom better with it, so.
Now check this out. They took the same Pro Metal and they built it into a Nico weight. Now this is a pretty involved weight. That's why I love these guys. What they're like the company that says, okay, we're going to make this jig. Okay, we're going to make it in 12 colors, 5 sizes, and then we're going to make each size with 2 different hook sizes. I mean, they don't say no. So here's the Pro Metal Nico weight. I don't know if I can show. I'm going to show it on my hand. So the little one there is interesting because it's a 16th ounce, but it's got a small diameter spring. Okay. Let me get my pointer out here. Small diameter spring. This bigger one here is a 1/8 of an ounce. Okay, that's as big as they make them. But with a large diameter spring. And you might be saying, well, what's the significance of that? Screw the small diameter spring into a Senko and tell me how you make out. There's not enough bite. Likewise, conversely, screw the medium-sized spring into like a little Nico worm, like this little Nori's Lattery worm. There's not enough plastic. So now we have the ability to have like 4 different sizes from I think a 32nd to an 1/8.
With both spring sizes.
With both spring sizes.
So saying it correct.
And green pumpkin and black.
Yeah, but saying it correctly would be the 16th you can get in a small spring and a big spring.
There's 4 SKUs for each size.
I don't, just so it's out there more correctly.
And here's what else I like, Professor.
Yeah.
I
like Doctor.
That little that you can't, you're not gonna see this, but that little that spring has a self-centering pin in it.
Yeah. That's trick right there.
So if you've ever tried to put your screw weight in and it wanders on you, now we have this small little Lattery worm right here from Nori's, which is just a little baby Nico worm. And you just put that pin in there, and guess what? It doesn't wander. You just screw it right in.
Dials right in there.
And I'm going to tell you, I can feel this. It's a long screw. This thing gets tight and takes a bite. Now you have your Nico rig making bottom contact for you. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, the main reason I was attracted to this product was, the amount of Nico rigging tackle that is consumed annually is staggering.
Yeah.
And I always am looking for another Nico rigging weight option. So, for example, if you're going to Nico rig a Senko, you're going to want the medium spring.
Yeah, for sure.
If you're going to Nico rig like that Lattery worm or like a smaller Robo worm, you're going to want the small spring. And now I know a lot of you like to use nail weights, but now we have bottom contact feel. We have increased feel on our Nico rigs,
which is key.
And this is a nice product. Now, another place you can use this, now obviously not on your TPE, but if you're like a Maxcent Mobia guy, you can use this as an alternative to a nail weight, because Maxcent is
Yeah,
able to be screwed into.
exactly. Yeah.
So this is a multi-use. It's called the Pro Metal. There's 3 in a pack for $5.99. Again, I think a very sharp price point.
Wait, Pro Metal Nico?
Nico weight.
Nico weight.
And there's 3 in a pack. There's black, there's green pumpkin, there's small or medium spring, small spring, every weight. So every weight, there's 4 options. So check them out. Not everybody shares my enthusiasm for terminal tackle, but I would recommend, if you like Tackle Shop Live over the course of the next 2 months, I would gain some enthusiasm for terminal tackle.
Yeah.
Because I have got a lot of terminal tackle coming.
Well, we got a lot of new people on here tonight, and all this stuff we're talking about
Tell
here
what's up.
is you can find this all on sfttackle.com. That's our website, George and I's website for the shop, for people who can't get here, can't come to the shop and see us and shop our great inventory here. You can go online and you can buy all this stuff on our store online. We'll ship it out to you. We're as competitive as anybody. George shops all the prices all the time, so we're very, very competitive with our pricing. And number one, and number two, we would appreciate it if you're going to buy this stuff. Hey, check out sfttackle.com or come in the shop here and buy from us here.
Well, I mean, this is America. You can shop wherever you want.
You can.
Ask yourself this. You enjoy the show. We would love the support. If you can get the same or better pricing with the same or faster shipping, with the same or better customer service, I mean, you got nothing to lose.
Well, just let us know. We'll match it. We'll match the prices. That's what we do. And listen, the one thing that you want to do too is you want to jump on and you want to like and share this show tonight on Facebook and YouTube, and comment on there, and just let your buddies know, listen, this is a cool show. This is what we do. And we appreciate it. George, what else you got, man? What's happening?
Well, I'll tell you what I got. I got new colors in the Crackdown. And this one right here has been longly awaited for. So the Crackdown is the G-Crack bootfoot harness style swim bait. This is a line through. You can go top hook or bottom hook. And this has a fantastic clip holding system for the hooks. Absolutely fantastic. This bait swims. It's just fantastic. But that color is called Pink Lemonade. That color is hot. I mean, that color, when it comes in, it goes out like on the bellows gill. It's a short-lived lifespan on the shelf. That color is Pink Lemonade in the Crackdown. And also, a new addition to the Crackdown is Pro Blue Shad, which is obviously, top 3 colors in any bootfoot swim bait or harness style swim bait. So great baits. Check them out. It's a 6-inch bait. It's a little over an ounce. It's Elastec. It's TPE. So you're going to just catch like a bajillion fish on that thing. And that's some new colors in the G-Crack Crackdown. G-Crack is an awesome company with phenomenal products, and we love working with them. But you have to understand, the availability issues in these companies. It's not like
brutal.
It's not like it's why are you out of this stuff? You're very rarely are you in stock.
Yeah.
To the point where you'd like it to be.
Yeah.
And it's just that if you like JDM tackle, with very few exceptions, one of them being Megabass, that's the way it is. And I just would not worry about it. I would just get what I want when I see it.
Yeah.
And move on.
Guys, question for you. So that bait right there, you said it's line through, you got a top hook or bottom hook feature. for those that are thinking about getting one, when would you pick which way you would hook it?
Yeah, crawling it on the bottom or fishing cover, you're going to fish that with the top hook. Keeps you from snagging, keeps you from catching into the rocks, into that kind of stuff. You can slow roll it a little bit better on the bottom with the top hook. And when you're just fishing regular mid water column, then you go with the treble.
Yeah, so this is a kind of a deep throat, round bend, custom hook built for this bait. They do pack it with a threader. And just to let you know how the real world works, the first time you use your bait will be the last time you ever see your threader. And that's not a problem because this threads up easy without the threader. And essentially you can go through the nose, which is this is a plastic hard piece, easy to put your line in, and you can go up or you can go down. If you go up, you can use any hook you want. This is the hook it comes with. And I'm going to push this in here because once you tie on, you push this, you pull this in. You pull the line and you'll feel this kind of seat up in here. Just kind of seats just like that.
Snaps in.
It's not a lot of tension, but it's just enough tension. These things skip amazingly well. I mean, it's ridiculous how well they skip. So you can put this thing in some places. Again, bottom hook. You come in, you come right out right there. You tie on. They supply a very premium treble. And there's a little, just a neoprene insert there. And you just simply pull the hook up into that insert. It just puts enough tension on it so when you're skipping, it doesn't full out. These are Elastec, which is TPE. They're scented with that awesome G-Crack scent. And you know what? If you're a harness swim bait fan, and in my world, I call that a mag draft. I mean, you know what? There's a lot of copies.
Yeah.
There's a few that are pretty good.
Yeah.
This is one that's pretty good.
Yeah, no doubt.
Not to disrespect the mag draft, because when you plow that field and pioneer that ground, you take ownership of that category.
Oh yeah. And
I mean, we don't call curly tail grubs. We call them twister tails.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
That's out of respect.
Yeah. No doubt. And the fact of the matter is the mag draft is the OG and it is the premier, but you have all these other companies out there that have maybe a better way of fishing for a certain style of fishing. Especially that top ride hook on this Crackdown. You can put that top ride hook in there and really slow roll it a lot better than you can a mag draft. So that would be a good reason to have one. But the mag draft, is our OG. That's the one we're going to go to for a regular harness rig. What else you got, George?
Is that how you're rolling?
That's the way I roll.
Mag draft for life.
I'm gonna throw these other ones, but I'm gonna use them for what they're really good for. Different. If I can't fish a mag draft, I'm gonna find one that I can fish it in that scenario.
Well, you can fish a mag draft in any scenario.
But
even better than this, because you can get a freestyle and put a 6.0 or an 8.0 beast in it.
Yeah, but
and now you're text posed.
Doesn't have that.
Yes, it doesn't have the scent.
G-Crack scent,
but it's got the swagger.
Yeah.
We talk about the mag draft a lot. The mag draft has the magic. So the mag draft is nose down, slight head movement, and not an aggressive tail. And it's just like, nothing to see here. I'm just kind of swimming by Mr. Bass. It's all good.
How much is the Crackdown?
It's probably in the 20 range.
Yeah.
But anyways, that is our tackle talk segment for tonight.
Yeah.
Now, gentlemen, you know we love our smallmouth, right?
I love smallmouth fishing. Just going to straight up here and tell you that.
And you know we like to go north,
I love going north. I'm going to sit here and tell you that straight up too.
right? This is what we call the northern swing. This time of the year, you know, it's the northern swing. We've got all the tours. I mean, we've got every league is heading north. We have the Toyota Series. They're on St. Lawrence today. We have all the tours, the major tours, the Bass Pro Tour, the Elite Series, the King Daddy of them all, the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit.
Mhm.
They're all north because it's hot everywhere else. And this is the time when northern fisheries excel. So we're going to break down the northern swing a little bit because something way different is happening on the St. Lawrence River this year. And it has to do with restrictions to fishing area. You know, if you take an July, August, September St. Lawrence River tournament launching out of Waddington or launching out of Clayton, and you let the whole river be in play and the lake, the weights that have won these tournaments are not going to win these tournaments. But if you have risk involved with locking through, or if you're not allowed to lock through, like the Toyota Series is locked down between the Iroquois Dam and the dam at Messina. So they can't go west. They can't go towards the lake. The dam is closed. The way that dam works, that dam is like garage doors. And they pull the garage doors down to impede the flow of water. So they're trying to hold water back and keep Lake Ontario full, because Lake Ontario is very low. And the worst part of the summer drought is yet to come. So they're concerned about Lake Ontario's water level. So what they do is they close these dams up. That holds the water back. And the river gets real high. But the goal is to gain like a couple inches of water in Lake Ontario. So we're talking about like trillions of gallons of water here. We're not talking, you know.
That river flows, man. It's like flows out of Lake Ontario and through the St. Lawrence River and then all the way up through and then dumps into the ocean.
Gulf of St. Lawrence.
Yeah, and I think in some areas it's an 8-mile-an-hour current or something stupid like that, something crazy.
Or more.
I mean, that's an incredible amount of water going through there. And in some of those places, it's like 90, 100 foot deep, you know,
more.
And just rolling through there.
Well, the Toyota Series is not allowed. The Toyota Series can't lock through. The locks are out of play for them.
Right.
The dam's closed. So normally when you go up to the Iroquois Dam and you launch at Waddington, you just turn left and drive through the dam.
Yeah.
It's like the garage door's up, go. But that's not the case. So they're fishing from that dam east,
Yeah.
to the next dam, which is in Messina, which is the big boy.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of water, but you know,
27 miles.
yeah, 27 miles and wide and cut up and side chutes and side rivers. And we have an SFT pro staffer who has spent many years guiding up there on those side chutes and those side rivers. And the fishing is
good
on those waters. Those side chutes where you're not allowed access is off the chart.
Mm-hmm.
But they're catching them, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny is it shows how mental the sport is. because if you originally seen it on the schedule last year or this past year, whatever,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, I'm going to the lake.
Yeah.
So you have it in your mind where you want to go, and now all of a sudden you're restricted. There's a large group of anglers that are mentally checked out at that point already.
Yeah.
The reality of it is these guys catch them.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you look at the weights. Yes, they're not as big as what let's say the lake would be, but they catch them.
Oh, yeah.
They catch them.
Well, the river's producing some big fish. You know, they're catching some big fish out of the river. It's not the same as the lake, but it's really good fish in there. I mean, I haven't been up in that area and fished, you know, for forever, but I've always fished Clayton, you know,
Right,
the you know, the top part of the river there and over into Canada and all in that area. But I just, you can't tell me that you can see what's winning the tournament, George.
25 pounds.
25 pounds.
Not too shabby.
Well, here's
I mean,
something to think about.
You can catch them.
Here's something to think about. That's whether or not you can catch big fish. Of course you can. Whether or not there's a lot of big fish up there, there's insane quantities of big fish up there.
Yeah.
But here's the interesting thing. Typically, a St. Lawrence River tournament in the summer pattern is a deep water affair.
Mhm.
Typically, it is a drop shot
Mm-hmm.
or a Carolina rig or even a jig. They'll take a little jig like this. That's a 1/2 ounce tungsten football jig. And here's the deal. And this is a Kitech. And there's a lot of good jigs out there. You know, before we get started, like who's got the best jig? There's a lot of them. This is a Kitech, but they take a TRD, and that's your trailer. And it's just like line it up like you would anything else. I want to show you this package right here. This is badass. You got to take your time and rig it up straight. Just like that. And then, of course, you know, this material can be a little tricky to get over the keeper, but that drug around on the bottom, football style, where you're pivoting that thing up over rock like that. Forget about it.
Yeah.
Just forget about it.
Yeah.
So the football, finesse football, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's the way to roll. Now, I know cameraman Nick's over there like, you forgot about the Maxent little Super Trooper. You forgot about the little Super Trooper.
I'm with you 100%.
Yeah.
And I know Mike's over there saying, well, I like the little creature style bait. You know, okay, they're all great, but you got to drag it. That's typical. My point, I'm going to make my point now. This is a cool point. Everybody's going to like this point. That ain't the way it's playing out, people, because you can't go to the lake. And with the lock problems in the last tournament, which was the NPFL, they had a whole bunch of people on day one
Locked out.
either lose all their weight or most of their weight because, you know, we all know how Canada rolls. I mean, I don't have to go into that. And they paid for and were promised lock times. And Canada's like,
We have to take our break.
you know,
They took a break.
they're a little pissed off at the U.S. right now, so they lashed out. And so if you factor in no lake, questionable access to the lock, big bags getting DQ'd or knocked way down to nothing, there was a great opportunity to win this tournament in 3 to 5 feet of water.
Well,
And guess what?
largemouth.
No,
No,
He wasn't watching.
I wasn't watching. I was working.
The NPFL was won by Zach Burge with day 1, 25-5, day 2, 21-8, day 3, 23-7, day 1 and 2 on a baby unnamed bladed jig, day 3 on a crankbait, 23-7 on a crankbait, 25-5 and 21-8 on an unnamed baby bladed jig. That doesn't happen. But he made it work. Now, this guy's hotter than a firecracker anyway, so, I mean, he can make a lot of stuff work. That's his 3rd tour win this year.
He's riding momentum.
And he's catching fish.
Yep.
Confidence does that for you, but
What they are catching largemouth up there.
he's not,
They are.
No, they are. They're catching some nice largemouth up there.
but not the winner.
I'm just saying.
I'm making a point.
I know that.
And the largemouth ain't winning. John Cox, 2nd. Sight fished smallies.
Really?
Did you get the sight fish part?
I like
Well, did you see? I saw him fishing.
No forward facing sonar, so he
He-
wasn't sight fishing them like that.
He was fishing like, they have those big sand splotches, but he was fishing this line. I don't think it was grass, but it was a dark line going up through there with the white sand on either side of it. And he was just going up through there, man, and just throwing his thing. That,
He caught his fish on a amoeba
yeah,
on day 1. Day
Yep.
2, he caught him on a general.
general is
And
what
day
I saw.
3,
Him throw.
caught him on a half head jig with Nick's famous Max Scent little Super Trooper.
That's a
Yeah.
hot bait.
That's a
You-
killer.
It's funny. You were talking about that transition that he was fishing.
Yeah.
Those things up there hold so many fish.
Yes.
It's crazy
No, I know it.
how they just keep
I know
coming.
it. And that's a northern thing. Now let me tell you about this. A dark spot is different up there. A dark spot is a fish holding spot. I mean, it can be as skinny as what John Cox was fishing, which really wasn't more than a 5 or 6 foot wide swath going up through there. And I don't think it was grass. I think it was just whatever that dark
Just a
spot
little
is.
hump or
Maybe
something.
just a little rock vein going up through there. But it was going up through, and it was definitely lighter colored on either side of it. But I've been all over the place up there fishing, and dark spots is where a smallmouth goes and sits on top of it. It can be as size of a pie plate. It could be as big as a truck. It could be as large as a whatever. The flats that everybody talks about up there on all those and the rivers and stuff. The flats are dark spots, light spots, dark spots, light spots. Some of them is eelgrass. Some of it's hot, grass in there mixed in, but that gives those fish opportunities to ambush and hide, and ambush and do their thing. And it's just amazing up there how that is. And it's really something you got to pay attention to. And it's usually in less than 12 feet of water.
Yeah, I mean, these tournaments on this river are not won in shallow water.
Yeah.
Period. 1st and 2nd, shallow water.
Now, if they were going to the lake, it wouldn't be right.
No,
Yeah.
if you could go to the lake, that probably wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, but how do you think his weights would held up if the lake
Day
was
1,
open?
he would have been good,
Yeah.
but then he would have fallen off.
Day 2 was what? How many pounds?
21-8,
And what was day 3? 23.
23-7.
I don't know, man. He'd been right up in the mix
Well, let's just say a
for
typical
a 3-day tournament.
let's just say a typical lake tournament up there is like
25 to 26.
24 to 25 3 times.
Yeah, that consistency is there.
Yep.
Yeah,
But
Go ahead, George.
that's not to diminish this
that's a hell of a bag of fish.
phenomenal
for that,
effort
for
here.
that river.
But I just the main point of this conversation is this northern swing is different.
It is.
We got 1st and 2nd in a $100,000 tournament being won in 3 to 10 feet of water.
You know what it tells me, Nick? We don't have to run to the lake to have a good time.
All right.
Especially-
you definitely don't have to run to the lake to
for
have
us,
a good time.
for us guys. I mean, they're catching some nice
Well,
fish.
let me
man.
ask you guys a question though, because the BFL wasn't different. It was the same type of deal.
Yeah.
Is it because of the weather this year, do you think, or what do you think's going on?
Not being able to get to the lake.
But I mean, even so,
No, I think the river always produced those type of fish right there.
shallow.
Oh, I don't know. Because they do the seams, they do the seam fishing up there
Yeah.
in the river
And the humps.
and the humps and that kind of stuff. And they catch
I mean, I've been in tournaments.
24 pounds. I've seen it many times
Yeah.
come out of the river.
I fished that part of the river, and I will tell you, most of the guys that were fishing that part of the river were never fishing that shallow.
That shallow,
Never.
yeah.
So I'm just trying to think in my brain, like, what is it this year that's making it just
Mhm.
different?
I think it's a couple of factors, but I think one of it is, hey, listen, I can't get down there.
They're forced to it.
So in other words, I would never look here. I would never spend time over there. I would never go that way. I always go that way.
very true.
So now,
Yeah.
and then we have a guy that is on a whole different level plateau right now. He's fishing outside of his world. He's looking down upon himself and his boat in awe. And, if you are convinced that what you're doing is unbeatable, you're unbeatable. You're unbeatable.
Yeah, but you look at the shallow bite up there, Nick, honestly. 4 years ago, I think it was, they were catching them on the flats down at Clayton. And top 10 people were down, we're down there fishing those flats down there and
Well, I know one guy almost won a tournament.
8 to 12 feet of water. You look at the time Jordan was up there when
Wait a minute.
when they were up there fishing.
That was in the lake.
Huh?
That was in the lake. Now, wait a minute.
That was in the lake?
Wait a minute. That tournament that you're talking about, which you said was 4 years ago,
Yeah.
that was Drew Cook.
Well, not only that, it was Chris Zaldane.
Well, Drew Cook or Drew Benton, I forget which one, but he almost won that tournament on chatterbait,
Yeah, shallow water.
on docks,
I've been
in the
up,
river.
I've been up there many times and right outside of Clayton fishing in 8 to 12 feet of water, fishing those white spots, with the grass around them and catching smallies up there.
Well, we're not talking about, no, you can go up to the St. Lawrence River every day of the week.
Yeah.
And catch all of the 2.5 to 4 pounders that you can stand on the side of an island on a seam, on the front of an island on a push. Once you get it dialed in, it's not like taking candy for a baby. Once you figure it out, but we're talking tournament fishing here.
Yeah.
That don't do nothing.
Not there.
5 4-pounders is 20 pounds. 20 pounds in today's Toyota series has you in about 27th place. So
I've seen.
there's fun fishing, and then there's tournament fishing. What we're looking at is the greatness
No, I'm just saying
of this
Yeah.
shallow water northern
Yeah.
swing right
I think
now.
16 something right now has you in like 50 something, and
15 and change has you in 84th place.
So what's crazy to me about those statistics that you're rolling out is this: they're in a 27-mile stretch of this river. Now we have a lake that's in PA that's 30 miles.
Yeah, but not it's this river's.
Yeah, I know. But where I'm going with this is that amount of fish to be produced week after week after week after week in that 27 miles. That's impressive.
Well, this 27 miles of lake is, so if you take a 27-mile long lake, just to round things off, you have 60 miles of shoreline. This 27-mile stretch of lake has 600 miles of shoreline.
Oh no, I get it.
You know what I mean?
It's just crazy though, because there's a lot of fish in that place.
Oh, it's a lot. But I think the point that's unique about this northern swing is and you're going to see the theme continue here as we go on, is the shallow water.
Yeah, the shallow is different. But I'm going to tell you this: we have a friend of ours, George and I. It was our Garmin rep for many years, and he was going up there and fishing Messina to Waddington area, and he fished with a guy they sponsored, and he was a captain up there and a guide, and he would fish a bait caster with a 1 ounce Banks bass casting sinker on a bait caster. Actually, I think he was doing it on a spinning rod, and on a drop shot rig. And it was the year that the half shell came out. He was fishing the Fire Tiger one, and he told me, he said I had 25 pounds of smallmouth.
Hey, it's doable.
And he said I didn't do it one day. I did it for 5 days in a row, and it was 1 ounce in the current in 20 some feet of water, but it was in that area. So yeah, maybe they are a little shallower than they normally are, but that water holds them.
So the type of pattern that he was fishing is the classic St. Lawrence River
Seems
monster fish pattern. And that pattern is coming up over submerged humps that come out of super deep water.
Right.
So if you can find 50, 60, 80, 100 feet of water, just call it a channel, whatever you want to call it. And you look at your map and you study your map and you find 1, 2, 3 humps or whatever you want to call them, shoals, humps, I don't care what you call them, that come up out of that and top out in 30 to 40 or even 50 foot of water, from 30 to 40 is the zone. And then you go, that's step 1. Step 2, then you go and you graph those humps. And you will mark 3, 4, 5 dots on those humps, because those big fish, they ain't partying with their neighbors. They're out on deep water places where they are hammering big gobies, and they don't want anybody around them.
yeah,
Right.
and
then you have to get above them and position your bait on a backwards drift using your trolling motor to control your drift over top of them with a drop shot.
yeah.
And if all that sounds easy, it's not.
It's
No,
not.
that's river fishing. It's understanding ledges and humps and pushes and currents and stuff like that. It's all river fishing, but it's not hard. It's not easy to do. But you
Especially
look at
in the wind,
yeah,
the
but
current.
you can go back in years, Nick, and look at how many years that it was almost one in the river.
Well, so
You know what I mean? There was massive quantities of fish and sizes caught in the river for years.
so the reason why when people go, why do they go to the lake? Why do they go to the lake? There's just as big a fish in the river. The problem is
Fishing them.
they're usually not ganged up. So you might have to catch a 4-pounder here. You might have to run 3 miles and catch a 5-pounder there. And you're going to go through a lot of those 2 and 3s that George is talking
Well, you're
about.
going to go through a lot of those deep water humps.
And when you go on the lake, traditionally, the
Schools.
schools of bigger fish, it's easier to catch because you got to think about it.
Yeah.
You got 8 hours to fish the river to catch 20 some pounds.
Yeah.
And these guys are running 2.5 hours to fish for 3 hours to
Yeah.
catch 25 pounds.
Yeah.
Your odds are better to catch that big bag than they are on the river, even though there's just as big a fish in the river. If
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
makes any sense.
Oh yeah, it
Well,
does.
I mean, that's why the tournament is never won.
I'm all right
in
with
the-
4-pounders.
Oh,
that-
me too.
That's why the tournament is never won in the river.
Right.
It's always won in the lake,
Yep.
unless you're not allowed in the lake.
Right.
And then it's won in the mouth of the river, unless
You're not allowed there.
you got some cranky Canadians that are playing lock roulette.
But that being said, though, George, that weight, who did you say, Burge?
Zach Burge,
Yeah.
incredible.
That's very impressive.
So
That's
and he
awesome
caught,
bag of fish.
you know, day one and day two, he caught those fish on a small version of an unnamed bladed jig, and day 3 he caught him on a crankbait.
Baby jackhammer.
But John Cox, second place, sight fished. I don't think this should be lost. It gives the shallow water guy hope. Okay, let's jump up to Champlain. How have the tournaments been being won on Champlain the last few years? Open water scoping with a 6-inch minnow for big ass roamers. Well, guess what? You only can run your scope for 3 hours. So Cal Lane, Chris's son, won it. And he scoped up his first limit on a 6-inch minnow. Then he ran to tie, and he punched up enough calls and upgrades to win it. So here we are, another tournament that Ty hasn't played as a winning tour level location forever.
That had to be near and dear to your heart.
Oh
James.
man, that was speaking to me. And he went down and punched those Eladia mats with that big ass weight and that big ass rod with that big ass line. And he called up and he won a tournament, and that's how you used to fish up there.
Mm-hmm.
Used to go south, used to run a tie. It was always like, well, we're making a run, and you get down there and you'd fish coontail, milfoil, and now it's Eladia because it's taken over. Second place, Matt Becker, scoped up a limit. He was using that big bite bait spotlight minnow that Drew Gill designed, which is a hell of a scoping bait. And then he fished a wacky rig Sanko on docks for upgrade largemouths. Bank Shaw, third, imagine that. Scoped up his smallmouth with a mooch minnow, and then caught his largemouth upgrades on docks with a Crush City CEO. And he wasn't making it up because I saw the bait, and they're the only ones that make that color.
Yeah.
So I know it was a CEO.
Yeah. Motor oil.
Yeah.
They don't call it motor oil, but
No.
that's exactly what it is. Remember
So-
when you and I saw that, Nick?
So here we are, guys, shallow again. Okay. Now, this was a technology reason. Now, guess what? The elites are going to Champlain in about 2 weeks. Well, they'll be there pre-fishing in about a week and a half. No scope. I'm here to tell you, I think this elite event is going to follow suit and be exciting as hell because they're going to be up flipping, frogging, punching.
Oh yeah.
There's gonna be some guys, some of these young bucks are gonna figure out how to shake a minnow on 360, but there's a delay.
Oh yeah.
By the time the 360 spins past and you see the fish, you're like 3 seconds have gone by. And it's really, really hard to hit that target.
Well, especially if you have any wind or anything.
Super hard.
I think you're going to see those old school techniques of fishing the tail end of the shoals and the heads and the tail ends of the shoals.
No, we're talking about Champlain.
Yeah. The heads and the tail ends of the shoals.
Oh, the shoals out in the lake.
Absolutely. That we fished for years and years and years and caught freaking 20-pound bags off the ends of them.
I'm sensing a wager.
And you're going to see some guys in the top 20 that are doing that. Maybe even topwater fishing.
I was going to say topwater's going to play.
The topwater's going to play for some of those big 4.5 pound smallies that they're catching. And I mean, I know a couple shoals that I would want to fish.
I got to ask you guys a question about that lake though. I am so excited about this tournament because of how they're going to fish. Do you guys think that Ty is going to play in that tournament?
I think largemouth are going to win the tournament.
Do you?
Yep. Now, it might not be Ty. You have phenomenal. Well, first of all, when we say Ty, we're talking about the bottom of the lake.
Right.
So when we say Ty, we're talking about 30 plus miles of lake.
Yeah, it's a big.
It's 30 miles plus.
But you don't have to run there to catch largemouth.
You absolutely do not. But the concentrations,
right,
are epic. When that place it's magical. But St. Albans Bay, Messacoy Bay up in the north. St. Albans Bay is pretty far north on the Vermont side. Phenomenal, legendary largemouth water in both of those places. And then all kinds of little bays. When you're riding south on that lake, it's a boring ride. It takes forever. And you're just looking around sightseeing like a tourist. Every little bay you see on the New York side has got pencil reeds in it. And let me tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about being able to see the fish.
Mm-hmm.
You've been up there.
Oh yeah.
When you go in and slip a bait into a pencil reeds, how deep is it?
Pretty shallow.
And do you see the fish?
No,
Now, the better pencil reeds,
I like the deeper pencil reeds.
you know, the better pencil reeds are the ones where it's super, super shallow to get to them. And then for some mythical reason,
Opens up.
they're in like 2 or 3 foot of water.
That's pretty cool.
It's like the
I mean-
wave action over the years
Yeah.
Well,
has dug out that bank like this,
not only
like
that,
a cut bank almost. And then the pencil reeds are growing in, and you're like, oh, would you look at that? Just look at it.
well, not only that, you can look at a big long stretch too, and you'll see areas where either the grass is pushed into it, particles of grass, and makes mats in those pencil reeds. Well, you can narrow that down really quick. A lot of you can jump over a lot of stuff and just go right to those mats. Even that like algae and how the green algae grows in those little small circles.
Snodgrass,
Yeah, snodgrass. You can go in there and
the
punch
cheese.
through that cheese, man, and just freaking whale a good one underneath that.
George, about 5 minutes ago, you claimed a wager. What was it?
Well, Mike and I were going to have a wager on whether smallmouth or largemouth won, but then he corrected his course. He was going sideways on me. He was talking shoals and smallmouth. I mean, I'm ready to party on.
I mean, you start looking at guys like Brandon Palaniuk with his rock fishing, and some of these guys that understand what the power of shoals are. I'll take the bet. I say smallmouth wins the tournament. Yeah, I do.
I got largemouth winning it.
The only thing that scares me is that Tycon Road, but it could blow up and those guys can't get down there.
What about St. Albans?
I don't think you can get
What about
three days
Messaquoi?
in there.
What about Messaquoi?
Well,
What
if
what
that place
counts as
wind blows up.
largemouth win it or smallmouth? And I only say that because
There's gonna be mixed
there's
bag,
a very
right?
good chance it's a mixed bag.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Yeah.
majority is largemouth.
Majority is
Yeah.
smallies. I'm gonna say
Yeah,
smallies.
whatever the majority is.
I'm gonna say smallies because they can't use the forward facing, and I don't think largemouth will hold up for 3 days. The big ones, but I think
pressure.
yeah, I think you can have enough isolated rocks and shoals that you can catch 20 to 22 pounds off every day.
Ooh, I like it.
20 to 22.
That's like bold.
That's
Not
bold.
only is he wants
Smallies.
smallmouth to win,
that's
smallies.
bold. That's
but he's
bold.
putting numbers out there that are unheard of.
I think that's high, Mike.
I've done it.
All right, so
Yeah. How many 5-pounders you catch up there in smallies?
I caught one that mattered.
Yeah. I caught a couple.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So
I've seen them.
let's talk about some Champlain, some unique Champlain baits and techniques. Because Champlain is a different animal. It's like in this area here, it's in Pennsylvania, it's a tradition to go to Canada fishing. And I tell every single person that's getting ready for their Canada trip, I share the excitement of preparing for the trip. I help them get their tackle ready. I love it. I love the stories. I love the enthusiasm. And I always leave them with this thought. Go to Champlain next year. Why? You'll never go to Canada again.
I agree.
But Champlain has some very unique differences to it. And I got a couple that I'd like to share. Number one, it's the best 6-inch Senko lake I've ever fished in my life.
Mm.
You can go up there and fish those pencil reeds with a Senko and catch a few. If you're fishing a 6-inch Senko and that's tight on, it's over. Also, because the water clarity, color matters.
Yeah.
And some really weird colors matter. other than tidal water fishing, the largemouth fishing in that lake with a sapphire blue trailer on a jig is the best I've ever seen.
Really?
And you would never think a sapphire blue trailer. Like, I always fish a black and blue jig. And when I say black and blue, I mean black with blue flakes, with a black with blue flake trailer. And on that lake, I forget because I don't get there very often. And I'm like, oh, shoot, I got the wrong trailer on. And I've literally flipped through a line of trees, changed trailers, turned around, and caught 6 fish off each tree, like going from to that sapphire blue trailer. So there's colors that matter. Size matters.
Swim bait or swim jig.
It's just a different place,
It's a
man.
swim jig fishing
It sure is.
freaking mecca up there.
Don't, and you can't sleep on the Carolina rig up
No,
there.
not at all.
For
And
the smallies.
you know, one of the things they throw up there, Nick, that's been always good for years and years and years, a chartreuse pepper, either chigger crawl or not chigger crawl, a ultravive speed crawl or a lizard.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Chartreuse pepper.
Yeah,
Oh,
don't sleep
yeah.
on it.
See, I think that's all hardcore
See,
stuff,
that's
man.
what's going to be cool. What you guys just talked about, because of the lack of technology being able to use, some of that stuff's going to pop.
Yeah,
Something's going to
Yeah.
have to.
I'm telling you, great. Palnik's going to be a big player in this because he's a 360 master and he has
Oh, you ain't kidding.
3,000 rocks marked on that body of water.
He does.
And I think he's going to put 20 to 21 pounds together every day.
All right. So coming up,
He's going to win
boys,
it with smallies.
on the Northern Swing, and we'll end our Northern Swing event, our Northern Swing program, with this Northern Swing message. Next week, the 6th through the 9th, Bass Pro Tour event out of Lake Erie, out of Sandusky.
Ooh.
Now,
Ooh.
you want to talk about a come to Jesus moment? You're back in the Sandusky boat basin and you're all fired up. You got your frickin' stuff pointing over to the Canada side. You're thinking Pele Island. You're thinking perhaps I might even go to the Detroit River. I don't know. I might even go to St. Clair. I'm not sure. I might hit the Bass Islands, and you're just fired up. You are highly motivated individual. And then you come out of the frickin' boat basin. You go past that big ass frickin' Ferris wheel they got at that theme park. And like Mike Tyson says, everybody's got to get a good plan so they get punched in the mouth. And that first frickin' wave comes over and boom! That's what's going to happen. This is going to be fun to watch. And what's interesting about this tournament, having fished there a good many times from there the whole ways over to Cleveland, there is a ton of phenomenal largemouth fishing in all the harbors and marinas and bays off of Lake Erie.
Will that play, George?
Well, it's a 2-pound minimum and every fish counts.
Oh, that's right. You always got to remember.
So when you come out of Sandusky and take right, the first marina you hit on the right, you can go in there and catch, first guy in there, catch 30 fish.
And that's a big deal.
If they're 2 pounds, that's 60 pounds.
Yeah.
Out of 30 fish are not only going to be 2 pounds, but there's going to be a bunch of them. The problem is to get to the next marina, if it's rough, it's time consuming. So they have the periods. You could literally spend the bulk of a period moving from one spot to the next. Now, they don't have to be back in time for weigh-in.
That's right.
So, they can, it can take you 2 hours to get over to the Canadian side. So keep that in mind. That's going to be fun to watch next week.
The BFL is just one up there in St. Clair.
Oh, it was probably in St. Clair.
No, it was out of Erie, and the guy ran up the Detroit River, caught a limit in Detroit.
From Sandusky?
Uh,
That's a savage right there.
yeah.
I got to ask you a question.
He
George,
caught a
from
limit
Mike.
in St. Clair or in the Detroit River, and then called out 4 of them in St. Clair.
So
That's
you guys
That's
are
a tough guy
you're
right
in
there.
a BFL
25 pounds.
out of that boat ramp, the Erie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you Are you running the St. Clair?
Hell
Lynn
no.
PFL?
No,
Hell no.
I tried that once.
Hell no.
My buddy Bruce.
I thought you were going to fish a tournament.
My buddy Bruce was 3.5 hours late to weigh in. And at one point in time, he had a Coast Guard rescue helicopter hovering over top of him. And the rescue swimmer was hanging out the door going like this. And he was like,
That is crazy.
he was 3.5 hours late to the weigh-in.
You don't know what's
He
going
had
to
to
happen.
stop.
You don't know.
He had to stop on Pele Island and get gas.
So Pele Island has a gas pump. That's
All
pretty
those
cool.
islands do. It's the Bass Islands.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey guys, real quick before we're done here, I do want to let everybody think about something though. As the Northern Swing comes, and as you can tell, everybody, we're pretty pumped up about the Northern Swing. There's a lot of things other than the fishing part of it going on right now. Every one of these circuits has anglers either going for Angler of the Year,
Yeah.
going for classics, or whatever Bass Pro Tour has going on.
Yeah.
I can't keep up. And also for their fishing career. There's
Yeah.
a lot of things happening over the next month and a half.
Well, just this month alone.
yeah.
A lot of drama.
Yeah.
I mean, the 6th
A
to
lot
the
of
9th
drama.
is the last Bass Pro Tour event.
Mhm.
They only put out 51 boats.
Yeah.
So, and they got 10 or 12 coming in. So 10 or 12 people's career going to be gone.
Mhm.
Big important tournament.
Yeah.
Lake Champlain Elite, the 13th through the 16th. If you're hovering around that cut line, this tournament is a get right tournament or a partially get right tournament. And then the following week, actually it's
2 weeks later.
2 weeks, is the St. Lawrence River. So
Yeah.
the drama is at its crescendo.
It's coming up.
There's a lot of drama going on.
Yep.
You can
And-
follow it. You can follow it and follow along, and it's and if they cover it right, it's pretty powerful.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty powerful.
You know, this is an exciting show because we kind of talked a lot of tournament talk tonight, which, you know, is something that we stray from once in a while. But it's the Northern Swing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the Catalina effing wine mixer. I'm just telling you. Okay.
All
Come
right.
on.
All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for hanging on with us tonight. We had a great time doing the show. I hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll catch you on the next Tackle Shop Live.
I met you on a sunny day. Right there, you took my breath away. Young and pretty, was it just a dream? The next day, you called me up. You told me I'm your little buttercup. You came over and you fell into my arms. Well, I know what I feel. Please tell me your love is real. You make me smile when I think of you. If I